I want to talk about my pumpkin because my pumpkin's weird. So this pumpkin has kind of an interesting story if you think stories about pumpkins can be interesting. So this particular pumpkin is the only seed of this variety that I had left, and I thought I had lost it entirely. This pumpkin was given to me by somebody who it was given to by a dead old lady. Well, the lady's dead now. She wasn't dead when she gave it. Wasn't like a ghost thing or a zombie situation or anything like that. It was just the old lady in the mountains gave these pumpkin seeds to a friend of mine. The old lady died. The friend never grew the seeds, kept them for a few years, gave them to me at our old house, and I grew them there. And they were amazing. Just these beautiful, beautiful pumpkins, huge. They tasted delicious. We made soups out of them, all sorts of things. And they seemed to be resistant to vine borers, which is always something that plagues me with pumpkins, winter squash, and all that sort of stuff. So 3 years ago, we had not moved to this house yet. I decided to pack up all of our stuff when we were moving to this house, including the seeds that I had saved from these pumpkins. And I put some of the boxes of the stuff that we were packing up out in my workshop at the time, and mice got into them. And they got into the boxes and they ate all the pumpkin seeds and moved them around and stashed them in various other boxes and things like that. And then we moved, and I found after we had moved here that the pumpkin seeds had all been eaten, and I was very disheartened, and I thought I had lost this variety forever. And so a few weeks ago, we actually went into the closet here to look for something that we had not seen since we moved. Basically, it had just been in storage for a few years, and we finally needed it. So we went and started to move and open up some of those boxes. And out falls a single uneaten pumpkin seed. And it is this variety that I've been looking for. So I planted it, and it grew, and I planted it out here. Like I said, I only have one of these. And it started to look pretty healthy, but then, let me get back to the base of the plant over here. You can see, if you're familiar with pumpkins, something's a little off about this to begin with. These leaves are too close together, right? These are just bunched up. It's kind of weird, right? Well, that's because the whole thing, starting way back here at the base, is fasciated. Fasciation is a growth deformity of the terminal bud, and terminal buds are the things out here. We'll go to a fairly normal looking branch now. The thing out here at the end, there's a little clump of cells that's undifferentiated, and as the plant grows, they differentiate and turn into little leaf buds and leaves, flower buds, flowers, fruits, tendrils, all that stuff comes out of this bud. And generally that's going to be fairly compact, fairly symmetrical, and produce normal growth. However, like I said, these are fairly normal looking branches over here. This is a good example of what a normal pumpkin branch would look like, the growing tip of it. The stem is round-ish. The leaves are coming off in normal spacing. Everything looks good. Tight little clump of opening leaf buds and leaves at the end. And then over here we got something weird. This is the one of the ends of the funky branches. This thing is wide and flat, and the leaves are coming out in clusters and rows and weirdness like that. And it just keeps going right there to the end. So I debated whether I should just kill this pumpkin from the beginning, or try to trim off that fasciated branch. But the fasciated branch was the main branch. Off of it has come some fairly normal branches. But the fasciated branch split back there into two massive fasciated branches. One of them is that guy right there, which comes over here. See, that's still flat and weird right there. and actually splits into some sort of normal-ish branches here. This one's still got 2 leaves coming out side by side, but it's producing fruit. You can see one of them beginning right there. There's a bigger one over there. It's producing a ton of fruit. It's just insane. The leaves, it's just an extremely dense plant. And I think we might run into some disease issues. I'm wondering if the main property that I liked about this, which is that it had no problems with vine borers when I grew it those first few years at the old house. And the stems were quite thin. This is pretty thin for how big this plant is and how big the fruit is that it produces. And I thought that maybe that was part of what contributed to it being resistant to vine borers. It's taking over my carrots. It's killing my carrots, but that's okay. Poor planning on my part. But it might be the hairs or some sort of chemical thing. I don't know. But the fact that it's not completely composed of these fairly thin branches, and instead has these really thick ones, I wonder if that is going to make it more susceptible to the vine borers. But we'll see. The vine borers aren't really active quite yet this year. But anyway, that's my pumpkin. That's the story of it. I don't know what to call this variety. The dead old lady can't tell us what she called it anymore. Maybe I'll call it Dead Old Lady Pumpkin or something. I don't know. But that's it. It's my weird pumpkin. Look at this thing. I mean, that's just nuts. And it's flat too, by the way. So it's only wide in one direction. It's like strap-like. But it's just making an absolute ton of fruit. All up in there. Everything looks pretty good other than the fasciation and the extreme density, but maybe that's a good property. I don't know if the fasciation itself probably won't get passed on to the seeds that are in these fruits when I save seeds for next year, but maybe a proneness to fasciation will. I don't know. Depends on if that fasciation is a result of like a somatic mutation within the plant, like a mutation along its growing body, or whether that the fasciation is a result of an injury back there, like a mechanical injury, a bug bit it on the terminal bud or something like that. So we'll see, but that's my weird pumpkin.